Welcome back to another episode of Island Bike Life. We're in Cumberland today. We're going to be taking out the Kona Process 153 CRDL. Test ride and review of the 2018 Kona Process 153 CRDL. If you're already a subscriber to the channel, welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome to Island Bike Life. Here you're going to find videos on bike and product reviews, trail guides, trail building, showcases on local business and breweries, and all around good times. It's a May-long weekend up here in Cumberland, located in the Comox Valley on Vancouver Island. Cumberland has an amazing collection of trails, everything from beginner to advanced riders, green to double black diamond. It's a great location to put a bike like this Kona to the test. What a fun, playful bike on the trail. Just general trail riding. Pops around, hugs the ground nice. Good speed. I was able to put some good miles in on the Kona Process 153 CRDL. So what are some of the takeaways from that? Well, in terms of bike fit, Kona's website puts me right in the large/extra large category. At 6'2", I would say that the large size fit with a 33-inch inseam is pretty good. The reach of about 475 mils felt really nice and roomy. I would like to try an extra large out just for a little bit of a longer wheelbase to see if it added a little bit more stability when going downhill. That being said, it was very playful and planted, so I might not want to give that up, but it would be an interesting thing to test out. In terms of climbing, for a bike with 153 mils of suspension in the rear, it really pedaled quite nicely. It clearly is no trail bike or XC bike. It's going to get you to the top. You're going to have some energy left over when you get there, but you're not going to get there in any sort of record time. When pedaling in the open mode in both fire road and single track climbing, the bike feels really planted, not a lot of pedal bob. On long sustained climbs, the added ability to lock the shock out on the RockShox Super Deluxe RCT was a nice benefit. I had a few of those this test period, and it definitely was a welcomed addition. In terms of general trail riding, I'm talking traversing an area, not necessarily focused on uphill or downhill. This bike actually feels really nice. It moves around the trail well, it's not overly heavy, and it pedals really nice. In the open mode, the bike is able to really hug the terrain, in and out of turns, up and over little bumps, rocks, and roots. It doesn't really get held up on anything, and the suspension setup is quite nice. Kona calls this their beamer suspension, but it's their take on a traditional horse link suspension. Many other brands feature this, such as Giant and Transition, Kona for sure. In this instance, I never really felt like the bike was getting hung up on anything, any sort of square hits or big rocks. The back wheel tracked up and over quite nicely. Because the platform of the pedals is quite stable, it does get up and go quite quickly. It doesn't really feel very sluggish. I attribute that to both the efficiency of the suspension design as well as the light feeling on the bike itself. Being full carbon, this thing definitely can get up and go when it needs to. When it comes to descending, this bike is quite capable. It has loads of travel, more travel than you're probably ever going to really need in any sort of general descent all mountain type bike. This is certainly geared towards an enduro style rider, and it would be more than sufficient. The relatively slack head angle of 66 degrees, the relatively steep seat tube makes this bike really great. When going down the hill, it definitely filled me with a lot of confidence. It invited me to take some questionable lines and never really left me concerned that I was going into something above my average rider skill ability, nor beyond what the bike was capable of handling. On fast, chundery sections over rocks and roots, the bike felt really planted. It tracked the ground well, it held its speed very easily. It was able to dance around the trail, moving around any obstacles, and it really felt quite playful. The 27.5 wheels definitely lend itself to that. I run 29-inch wheels on my other bikes, and switching over to these was actually a nice change. The bike felt really fun going downhill, really confidence inspiring, and really truly was a little bit of a rocket. In terms of the overall value for the bike, with a retail price of $8,000 Canadian, the bike is really well appointed. You have a top of the line RockShox suspension kit, the RCT, front and rear, Lyric, and Super Deluxe. I would have liked to see the Code RSC brakes instead of the guides. I recently rode those on a Transition Sentinel, and for a bike that is this capable at going downhill at the speeds that it is capable of, the extra stopping powers of the Codes would have been a nice touch. That being said, the guides performed as they should. Great modulation, no issues there. The Eagle drivetrain is a little bit of a mix between their XO1 and GX kit. For the price of $8,000, I would have liked to have seen the XO1 kit across the board. The GX shifter is, in all honesty, just as good as the XO1. And if mine ever breaks, I'll be replacing it with the cheaper GX shifter, no questions asked. The wheel spec package is really nice, WTB hubs and wheels and Maxxis minions. The overall value, I think, is there in this bike. You might be able to find a different bike with a similar spec, maybe for a little bit less, and depending on the brand, for a little bit more. So it is a nice happy medium. Overall, who is this bike for? Well, I think this is potentially a bike that you can get away with as being your only bike. If you live in an area where your trails are predominantly cross-country focused, I think this might be a little bit too much. If you have a good range like we do here on Vancouver Island of all mountain type trails, this bike would be great. You're going to get around, you're going to have a boatload of fun, and you're going to get both to the top and the bottom and have a great day of riding. And really, that's what it's all about. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you like this review of the 2019 Kona Process 153 CRDL. If you want to take this bike out for a ride, or maybe get one of your own, go down and see the guys at Rock City Cycles here in Nanaimo. Take this one out for a spin, or get one of your own. If you like what I'm doing here on Island Bike Life, think about hitting both the subscribe and the like button. Leave me a comment down below, and come and find me on Instagram. Thanks again for watching. Now let's go hit the trails.